We got you with NFL free agency day 5. So just like yesterday, there isn't a lot of them. There's 5 of them. I'll start off with the first 3, and Mario's got you with the last 2. So with that being said, I'll start you guys off with the first one. It's quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. The Bears traded him to the Buffalo Bills on a 1-year deal, and this was reported by Tyler Coffin of the Associated Press. Um, I don't know about you, Mario, but I don't know. This didn't make any sense to me. I don't know about this, Mario. This move didn't really make any sense to me because I'm pretty sure I've heard Mr. Trubisky say he wants to be a starting quarterback. And you're not going to get that in Buffalo. Josh Allen is their QB1. It's as simple as that. So he's just going to have to adjust to living the backup quarterback life. And honestly, I've said it about Mr. Trubisky before. We know what this guy can do. But the problem with Mr. Trubisky is that he's not consistent. So, if Josh Allen goes down, which knock on wood, that doesn't happen, Mitchell Trubisky's gonna have to come in and lead the Buffalo Bills. So, I do wish him the best of luck. I don't know, like me personally, Mario, I don't know. This just didn't make any sense to me. They already have their QB1, but I guess it makes sense in a way, given that he's probably going to be the backup quarterback. So, with that being said, I wish him the best of luck in Buffalo. He's going to a very, very great team. So, not a very good place for him to go to, especially to be a backup in case if Josh Allen goes down, which again I hope that doesn't happen. Now let me get to the next one. This one was big. All right, the Las Vegas Raiders acquired running back Kenyan Drake to a 2-year, $11 million deal, which was reported by Tom Quisero. Look, man, this is a great move by the Las Vegas Raiders. It really, really is. Obviously you got Josh Jacobs on one side of the running game. Now you got Kenyan Drake, who in my opinion is very underrated. He's a very underrated running back in my opinion. I had him on fantasy, and this dude was putting up points for me like it was crazy. Very underrated in my opinion. So I really think that him going to the Las Vegas Raiders, who the problem with the Raiders is this: they need to get over that hump. They have the pieces. You have the pieces to put the team together. It's just they can't get over that one hump. Derek Carr is, in my opinion, I think Derek Carr is underrated for what he's worth. Derek Carr is actually a really good quarterback, and he's got a very great offensive line. He's probably got one of the best offensive lines in the entire league. So I mean, you got that. You got a good running back now. You got a relatively decent wide receiver core, except for the fact that you got rid of Nelson Aguilar. Other than that, I expect the Raiders to make some big moves this season, and obviously it's going to be a little bit tougher because the Chiefs are still in the conversation. The Chargers are on the come up as well with Justin Herbert in that offense. But with that being said, I wish Kenny and Drake the best of luck um, in Las Vegas. Now, let me get to the last one. Will Fuller going to the Dolphins. He agreed to a 1-year deal with them. And this was also reported by Tom Pelissero. But man, this is a good move by Miami Dolphins. Now I want to mention he'll miss out on the first 2 games because remember, um, he got suspended 6 games for PED use. So he actually still has to serve his last 2 games under suspension. So he won't be playing the first 2 games with Miami. I figured I'd put that out there. But when he's not playing, he's also another player that's actually underrated in my opinion. I mean, even though the Texans weren't a good team, and most people kind of expected that, he did what he had to do for the Texans. He was one of the better weapons for Deshaun Watson, and he did his job relatively well. And now he's going to a team that's building up to be a playoff team in the Miami Dolphins. They did a really good job last year, despite missing out on the playoffs. So I expect him to do bigger things, as well this year. Obviously, they got the Bills in the division. The Patriots made a lot of moves. So a lot of people were expecting them to be on a come up as well. And a lot of people were expecting the Dolphins to be on a come up as well. So with that being said, I do wish Will Fuller the best of luck in Miami. And I'll pass it on to you now, Mario.
Yeah, well, I'll start off with Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah, dude, let me be honest with you, man. I think what happened was I don't think anybody was really interested in Trubisky, and I think the Bills were like interested in putting him as a
That's probably
backup.
why I was confused.
Right, that's what I think happened, and he had to take it, or else, what's he gonna do? Retire at like after like 4 years in the NFL? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, honestly, Nate, unless like Josh Allen, like knock on wood, it doesn't happen because we don't like to see it. But unless he gets like hurt or unless he's not able to play, that's the only way I can really see Trubisky end up coming in. That's the only way I feel like he will come in. Maybe he'll come in situations where like Josh Allen has a very bad day or the Bills absolutely dominate. But other than that, like Trubisky's not really going to get a lot of playing time on this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think this is a big decline for Mr. Trubisky. And it's unfortunate his career didn't work, because in North Carolina, I don't think he was that bad. I don't think in North Carolina he was that bad of a quarterback, but he wasn't number 2 overall pick potential, in my opinion. So I mean, with that being said, I hope that Mitchell Trubisky can somehow like revive his career, end up putting himself in a better situation for next season. But I mean, look, man, it's not looking good for Trubisky anytime soon. Going to Kenyan Drake, I look Kenyan Drake and Josh Jacobs. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Nate. That's the best running back core in the league,
Yeah,
in
I
my
agree.
opinion,
I agree.
easily, no doubt about it. In my opinion, I think Josh Jacobs and Kenyan Drake are the best running back duo in the game. Simple as that. It's going to be a very tough running game to stop because both those guys are beasts. But I disagree with the fact that the Raiders have everything. I don't think they do. Like for instance, I think they're lacking a receiving core. Like after, like I think they're lacking a receiving core. So you get rid of Nelson Aguilar, you have Henry Ruggs, but what else? You don't really have anything else after that. Like you can't really name another wide receiver on that team besides Henry Ruggs now. I mean, you probably could. Like I can look it up right now, but like the Raiders, I just don't think that wide receiver wise, I don't think they're talented enough to make like some kind of playoff run. Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfro is decent. Um, Keelan Doss, John Brown. With I mean, to be honest with you, Nate, I just don't think it's a good enough receiving core to actually produce. And on the other hand, the offensive line was good. I agree with you until Rodney Hudson left. Rodney Hudson was recently released. I think Rodney Hudson is now on the. Hang on a second. I'm gonna look it up right now. Rodney Hudson, Arizona Cardinals. Rodney Hudson, that's right. He was signed to the Arizona Cardinals. So I mean, I think the Raiders really they took a big hit losing Rodney Hudson. Now, obviously, you have something called the draft coming up, and you can end up building your offensive line through the draft. Do I think that's the best idea? Sometimes and sometimes not. Depends how good that offensive lineman is. But usually, young offensive linemen end up kind of taking like a backseat for a year or two before they kind of get in. You know what I'm saying? So offensive line wise, I feel like they need help. Defensively, I like them defensively. They have a good quarterback in Derek Carr. I do think Derek Carr is a good quarterback. Running back wise, obviously they got one of the best running back duos in the game. Um, but other than that, Nate, I feel like they just need a little bit more on offense to kind of become a playoff contender. But I just don't think it's there. Maybe in the draft they fix it, but I can't. But right now they just don't have it. And last but not least, Nate, um, I believe Will Fuller. That's right. Look, man, Will Fuller obviously he got suspended for PEDs, and he ended up getting suspended for the rest of the season. He had a very very productive season when he was playing. Look, who say that Will Fuller? Everybody makes mistakes, but I feel like everybody deserves a second chance. So why is Will Fuller any different? You know what I'm saying? I feel like Will Fuller can definitely make an impact in Miami, and hey, him and Devontae Parker, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch. Obviously, for Tua Tagovailoa, that's a pretty 1-2 punch. On top of that, you have Mike Gesicki. I think that's an absolute great receiving core. I think the Dolphins have a pretty good offensive line to protect Tua. Let me be honest with you, man. I could definitely see the Dolphins making the playoffs. I can definitely see it happening. They were one game shy last year. You add Will Fuller. If Will Fuller can stay clean and healthy, and same thing with Devontae Parker, and these guys can end up going off, I can definitely see Miami Dolphins in the playoffs as a wild card. I can definitely see. I still think the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC East, but I can definitely see the Dolphins as a wild card. So with that being said, I wish Will Fuller the best of luck. Congratulations, and I'm curious to see how those three free agents play out this season. Now, going to the last two, we're going to start with Justin Simmons, and I'm happy to read about this, Nate, because Justin Simmons received the franchise tag this year, but now this man has a 4-year, $61 million extension with the Denver Broncos. You don't know how much I love Justin Simmons. I think Justin Simmons, like I don't talk about him a lot on this YouTube channel, but I think Justin Simmons is one of the most underrated players in this game. And I say that a lot about a lot of players, but Justin Simmons, I really do mean it. Justin Simmons, I absolutely mean it. And the reason why I believe he's so underrated is because the Broncos just aren't good. Hate to break it to you,
Right,
Broncos fans,
absolutely.
but you guys know it and I know it. Your team's not that great. Okay. But I think Justin Simmons is absolutely a great safety. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, Nate. If this guy was a free agent, this might be the second or third pick I would want the Vikings to go after out of the whole free agency in general, not just now. But obviously, he signed a 4-year, $61 million extension with the Denver Broncos. This was reported by Ian Rappaport, NFL Network reporter. But yeah, absolutely, this was a guy that the Broncos needed to re-sign because him being on franchise tag was absolutely ridiculous. I think he was on franchise tag for 2 years. Somebody correct me down below if that wasn't true, but I believe he was.
Look it
And
up.
And I just thank you. And I just thought, like, honestly, him being a franchise tag for 1 year was annoying, because Justin Simmons is such a very, very good safety. And I think that Justin Simmons doesn't get the credit that he should deserve, Like, he doesn't get the credit of like I'm trying to think of like a Tyrann Mathieu. Obviously, I don't think he's as good as Tyrann Mathieu, but I definitely believe he's in that type of category with those guys, with a Tyrann Mathieu, with a Harrison Smith, with a Buda Baker, with a I'm trying to think of more safeties. I can't really think right now of more safeties. But I definitely think he is in the category for like top five safety in the NFL. Period. I do, and he's been proven it time and time again. I think he is very good consistently. I'll look up his stats right now, but Justin Simmons has been a very consistent safety throughout his NFL career. This last year, he had 96 tackles and 5 interceptions. That's absolutely incredible. The year 2019, 93 tackles, 4 interceptions. 2018, 97 tackles, 3 interceptions. 2017, 69 tackles, two. He just keeps getting better and better every year, Nate. And this is a guy who is I think he is a top five safety, period, in this league. And he just doesn't get the credit he deserves because the Denver Broncos are just not that good. But quick question: did you find out if he was franchise tagged for 2 straight years?
Yeah, he was. He was franchise tagged in 2020, and then he just got another franchise tag before this extension.
See, now ain't that a pain? See that ain't that a pain? A
Yeah,
perfect safety. You franchise tag him for 1 year, and he just does I don't know. He just does a 96 tackle season with 5 interceptions, and then you franchise tag him again before giving him an extension. Why? Why? He's proven time and time again how consistently good he is, but you want to franchise tag him for 2 years. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. Franchise tags, if you do it one time, fine. It's for you to prove them. It's for the guy to really, in my opinion, I look as a franchise tag as like, I'm uncertain, prove yourself. That's the way I look at it. If they prove themselves, give them that extension. There was no need for him to be put on a franchise tag this year. There was no need. That's a guy I'm extending right away, ASAP. It's as simple as that. But with that being said, obviously he's not on a franchise tag no more. He's going to be a Denver Bronco for 4 more years. So congratulations to Justin Simmons. And now, last but not least, JuJu Smith-Schuster decided to restructure his contract to stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Nate. So he will be receiving a 1 year, $8 million contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this was reported by Taylor Biscotti and Ian Rappaport,
TikTok
NFL
man,
reporters. What do you say?
TikTok man.
That's what we're known for, I guess, now, TikTok, right? We know him for Corvette on the 50-yard line, huh? You guys know him for a dice roll now? All seriousness, though, I like this. I like this signing by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do think JuJu Smith-Schuster is a very good wide receiver. Obviously, here's the thing. Obviously, they had a very, very bad like ending to their year. Obviously, the last part of the year wasn't so great since the personally, I think they started showing like declining that year when in that game against Baltimore when they didn't have Lamar. But obviously, that decline started to happen. It wasn't the year that they expected. But let me be honest with you. You can look at like the Corvette all you like with all these Steelers doing TikToks, but you got to look at the talent wise. They are a very, very good team talent wise. Defensively, I think they are definitely top three. Okay, without a doubt. Offensively, they got a lot of good pieces, such as Juju Smith, Chase Claypool, Deontay Jackson. Actually, if you want to hear something, those guys right there were the only three wide receivers in the NFL last year to have 500 yards. Only three to have 500 yards. So I think that is a big accomplishment, which is why you really didn't see Juju Smith going for 1,000. Which is why you didn't see Chase Claypool hitting 1,000, Deontay Johnson hitting 1,000, because the ball was so well distributed those first 11 weeks and throughout the whole season too, that it was like an equal amount of play. So there wasn't going to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? They have one of the best offensive lines, period. Now, obviously, Pouncey retiring, that's definitely going to take an effect. But still, even with Pouncey leaving, it's not like the Raiders where Hudson leaves and now you're like kind of empty. The Pittsburgh Steelers still have a very, very good offensive line. Obviously, Bud Dupree leaving really affects the defense, but I believe you can. But I think that you could actually, build that up in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Kwity Paye is a good edge rusher. I think Jalen Phillips is a good defensive tackle. I'm trying to think. Aziz Aluja, God, I forgot his last name. Aziz Alujari, I think it is, or Alujiari or something. So they got some very good defensive linemen coming into this draft. But going back to JuJu Smith-Schuster, man, this was a good signing. The only problem I have with it is like the 1 year. That's the problem I have with it. Is this a sign that the Pittsburgh Steelers might not have all the confidence in Juju? I'm not sure. Obviously, they signed him to a 1 year contract, which at that point you might as well just franchise tag him, you know. But franchise tag would have been double, which is why I understand which is why I would understand like Juju Smith restructuring his contract, obviously to give the Pittsburgh Steelers back money. But honestly, Nate, the 1 year thing, that's the thing that's really like kind of that's the one thing that's like that I'm questioning right there is that 1 year, you know? But I mean, regardless, personally, in my opinion, Nate, I think next year, I think Juju Smith is gonna get an extension. Personally, I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Juju Smith is gonna stay a Steeler for a few more years. Question is, can the Pittsburgh Steelers learn from this season and build? You know what I'm saying? Is Juju Smith that leader that Antonio Brown was before he got there? And I'm not comparing him to like a bad. I'm not saying will he become the bad part of Antonio Brown. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying will he be the good part of Antonio Brown before Antonio Brown? Before Antonio Brown got into all the type of stuff he did. You remember how good of a leader Antonio Brown was to that wide receiver group? I want to know if Juju can take over that role as the leader of that wide receiver group. That's my question. And we're going to find that out next year. Simple as that. It's either he performs well, he proves that he's going to be a good leader and he stays, or he proves that he's not going to be a good leader, he doesn't play that efficient, and he leaves. It's simple as that. Personally, I think Juju Smith, despite all the TikTok dances everybody wants to make fun of him for, I think Juju Smith is actually not that bad of a player. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a very good player. I think he's a very good leader. You really don't hear a lot of like his teammates talk bad about him. He's just a fun guy who likes to do fun things. So
Yeah.
who just likes to have fun on the field. So with that being said, I wish Juju Smith the best of luck, and I wish the Pittsburgh Steelers the best of luck. And I'll pass it on to you, Nate.
Yeah, I'll start with Justin Simmons. First of all, congratulations to him on his extension. Yeah, man, I absolutely agree, and there's not really much I'm going to touch up on here. Obviously, the franchise tag thing was a little ridiculous. I think they should have kept it, knowing that they were probably going to give him an extension. So you just let your own franchise tag go to waste. So anyway, kudos to the Broncos for realizing that this dude's one of the most very very underlooked. Justin Simmons is very underlooked. And you're absolutely right, and I do agree. I do think it's because of the team he plays for. I hate to say it to you guys, but the Broncos suck, and I kind of had to say it like that. But with that being said, go out to Justin Simmons. Now all the Broncos need to do is build up a better defense. They just need to build up a better team overall. Something they've been trying to do ever since they won the Super Bowl, and obviously nothing's worked. So it's time for the Denver Broncos to um look at other options, look at other strategies to try and get that team back to glory and success. Now I'll end off with JuJu Smith-Schuster. Yeah, this is the guy I really wanted Carolina to get because he was on the free agency market for quite some time before the Steelers gave him his contract. But obviously, he decided to stay with Pittsburgh because he loves Pittsburgh. That's a team. That's a team that drafted him, so it only makes sense that he would. But obviously, when you really think about it, I think this is a guy Pittsburgh really needed to keep. You lost Bud Dupree, Marquise Pouncey retired. Big Ben. I'm gonna be honest with you, Big Ben kind of on a downhill. So I really do think this is a guy that Pittsburgh Steelers really needed to keep. So it does make sense that they kept him. Um, Now for the extension part, will he get extended? Me personally, I think it depends on how the team does. If the team does good, then I'm pretty sure they will extend him and he'll want to stay. But if not, then I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but that's just what I think, me
I
personally.
think it's more on him though than the team.
Well, yeah, that's
But
why.
I
That's
think,
what I
but I
mean.
think, but I think you got a good point there. If the wide receiver group isn't performing, and he does, like what I'm saying, like if they like again, like I said, if he's not performing or if he's not showing that he's going to be that type of leader, then he could
Right.
absolutely not get an extension.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean. So me personally, as for extension part, I don't want to go to that yet because I personally think it depends on how the team performs as a result. So we'll wait. We'll wait and see. Personally, there's a lot of talent on the Steelers. I just think they need to rewrite their mistakes and just go on with it. Obviously, I'm not asking them to start off 11-0 again because let's be honest, it's one of the most difficult things you can do. I know the Panthers did it a while. Were the last team to do it before the Steelers. The Patriots did. I think they went like 8-0 a couple years ago before they lost their first game, and it's not easy to do. So I'm not asking teams. I'm not asking this team to start off 11-0. But what I'm asking is, rewrite your mistakes. Keep your assets. Obviously some of them are gonna leave. So, obviously look in the draft. Like you said, my boy Cordy's up there. My homeboy Cordy. If you're watching this video, represent the 401. You know what I mean? That's what we do here. But look, man. Congratulations to JuJu Smith on his contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wish him the best of luck, and congratulations to everybody on this list, really on their contracts and their extensions or whatever. And that has been NFL free agency day 5 for you guys.